Whenever I'm speaking to people who are looking for a job, whether that be a graduate or someone who's trying to get their first job, or someone who's just looking to change careers, one of the things I ask them when we're talking is, do you know anyone within your network who is connected to the type of company or the type of sector that you want to work in? And a lot of the time they sort of think, well, no, I don't know. And what they're thinking about is their professional network. But then I say to them, look, what about friends and family? Do you have anyone in your friends and family network that could be potentially that work in a job or a sector that you want to get into? Now, whenever you are looking to leverage your friends and family network, there are certain things that you should and shouldn't do. So the first thing is, don't make it transactional. Don't go to someone and say, oh, I see you're working for this company. Have they got a job? I want to apply for a job. Or I've seen a job being posted. Can you refer me? Can you put my CV in front of the hiring manager? Don't make it transactional. Try and make it more in an inquiry. So what you want to do is you want to say something like, oh, look, I see that you're working that you work for this company, or you work in this sector. I'm very much interested in working in this sector. It'd be really good if you had some time to talk to me about what the culture is like, what they expect of people, how to get into that sector, that kind of stuff. More of an inquiry, because people love to give advice. So if you sort of say, look, I've got some questions that need answering, then people are more than happy to have a chat with you. And it helps, obviously, if you could offer them coffee. So if you say to them, let's go out for a coffee, and you buy them a coffee, that would really be useful and helpful, and people, and who's going to say no to a free coffee? So make sure you frame your request as an inquiry, have some questions, and then people will be happy to give their advice. The second thing is, sometimes within the friends and family network, they may not directly work for an organization that you're interested in working for, but they are connected to someone who works in that organization. And later on, I'll talk to you about a real world case study, how someone got a job through networking to their friends and family network. So you might want to say, look, I'm looking to your friends and family network, especially if they're working in a professional role or a role that will help you connect to someone. Say to them, look, I'm interested in a role like this. Do you know anyone within your network who can help? And what that really does is open up your network as well of people that you can connect to. So what happens then is that if they do know of someone, then at least you've broadened that network, and hopefully you can get an intro into that person. Now, the thing that would really help for them to either refer you to their network, or they might even refer you to within their company, is if you can give them a ready-made script. If you can say something like, look, here's something you can say about me. My name is so-and-so. I've done a degree in whatever. I'm looking for a job as this. I've got this kind of experience, and I'd be interested in a chat. If you gave them some kind of ready-made script, it really helps the person to then know how to position you or how to introduce you. Because sometimes it's like, hey, so I've got a family friend who's looking for a job. It doesn't sound that great. So if you could give them a script that they could use, whether they're referring you to their wider network or whether they're referring you to internally within their company, that would be really useful. And the final thing actually is worth bearing in mind. So a lot of companies actually offer referral bonuses. So companies I work for example, they'll say to their existing employees, if we've got a job offering or an open role, if you know someone who would be a good fit for that role, please would you refer them? And what that means is that, like, if I'm going to refer someone, if someone who works for a company is going to refer someone, they're going to make sure they're good, because don't forget, they work there. So they don't want to refer someone who's rubbish, because if they refer someone who's rubbish and they perform poorly, then that's going to reflect badly on them. So people generally refer people who are really good to the companies they already work for or to their network. So because that referral bonus exists in a lot of companies, you might want to just say, look, to your family and friends and family network, or to the wider network that you're getting connected to via the friends and family network, is to say, look, if there is a job opening, would you mind referring me as you're an internal person? And that might trigger them to think, oh, actually there's a referral bonus. If I do refer them in, then I could get that internal bonus. But don't make it obvious that you're saying to them, refer me so you'll get the bonus. Just sort of say, if there is a job opening, would you mind putting my CV forward as an internal reference? That way, you could say, look, it might get more credibility or more likely to be seen, but that person might trigger off and think, actually, I can get a bonus for doing that. When you are leveraging your friends and family network, there's things to think about. Now, I'm going to give you a real world example of how this happened, or an experience that I've had on how this has happened, and it will show you that it does work. Now, it takes time. Now, what happened was, I have a friend, she works in the creative sector, so she works for a design agency, she's very creative. Now, a daughter of a family friend connected with her to say that they were interested in a data analytics role, and especially working within an agency. Now my friend works in a creative agency. She doesn't know she doesn't hire data analysts, but she obviously knows me. So she obviously met with this person and thought they were good, and that's why they referred to me. I'm sure if the person wasn't good, they wouldn't have referred them to me. Now, one thing that this person did, and I would recommend that you do, is that they did their research. So when my friend referred her to me, she obviously told her, go and meet Shawful. He runs a data agency. This is his background. She did a lot of research on me, so she's sort of really well prepared. So if you get referred to someone, or you get referred to the company, or you get put forward for an interview, really come prepared, because it will reflect on the person who referred you, how good you are. So if you come unprepared, then I'm going to think, well, this person, my friend who referred this person, isn't really a good judge of character because this person wasn't great. So make sure you prepare for the meeting. So anyway, this person turned up. They were very good. I talked to them about what they were looking for, and at the time I wasn't actually hiring for any data analysts, but I knew of an analytics manager in another agency who was potentially looking. Last time I spoke to him, he was looking for a role, so I then referred her to him. So now in that period of time, it was probably about 3 or 4 months, and by the time she had the meeting with that manager, it was probably about 4 months. So you can see it takes time. So she had that meeting with that manager. He didn't have an open role, but obviously he took her CV and took her details and said he'd get back to her if anything came up. Now clearly I'd interviewed her, my friend had interviewed her or spoken to her, and we thought she was really good. So obviously when she spoke to this analytics manager that I knew, she must have impressed him, because a couple of months later a role did come up in his agency and he reached out to her, and she obviously went through the process of interviewing, but then she eventually got the job. Now between her contacting my friend in the creative agency and her getting the job could have been anything between 6 and 8 months. Now it takes time, but it does work. And so whenever you're leveraging your friends and family network, just know that it could take a lot of time. Like for example with this person, it took between 6 and 8 months from her contacting her family friend who was in the creative agency to her landing the job. So these things do work, but they just take a bit of time. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and share the video, and of course subscribe to the channel.